Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video, and before we get into today's video I would like to say a huge thank you to Joe Cunliffe for sending in some awesome pictures of his Necromundan 495th Infantry Regiment. These guys look sweet. They look really, really good. I think you've done such a good job, Joe, of capturing the aspect of the fact that most of the people in the Necromundan Guard are ex-Hive gangs, and it's so cool. The mixture of like Catachan and Escher and Goliath and all sorts of other Necromunda bits just looks amazing. So I really like the colour scheme you've got going on there. The gritty dark bit combined with the bright vibrant colours really contrasts fantastically. So thank you for sending these pictures in, Joe. And if anyone else has got any cool pictures they want me to use in my videos, please post them on my Facebook page, or you can email them to me at mordianglorytv@gmail.com. Don't worry if you can't remember that. There's a link to my Facebook page and my email address down in the video description below. But without further ado, let's crack on with today's video. So today, guys, I want to do a quick tip tactica on Imperial Guard veteran squads and how you can get the best out of them after the recent balance patch data slate thing that changed a lot of stuff for the Imperial Guard. So at the moment, veterans are kind of seen as a suboptimal choice, and that's a real shame because they're a fantastic unit and I really, really like them. And for the longest time, I've run 2 or 3 squads of them in my Mordian infantry army. But they have changed somewhat, and the nature of the game around them has changed somewhat. And so now we have to start being a little bit more clever with how we get the best out of them. Now, traditionally, veterans have been a source of ballistic skill 3+, which is a relative rarity in the Guard army, and they've been a source of being able to spam special weapons. So your veteran squad has access to a plasma pistol on the sergeant. You can put 3 more plasma guns or melter guns, whatever you want, on the veteran infantry, and then you can take a heavy weapon team, and hell, you can even chuck a heavy flamer in there as well. So you've got 5 or 6 people all wielding special weapons, and that's really, really cool. Problem is, that's expensive. You know, the veteran squad itself is 65 points base now. You add a plasma pistol in, you're looking at 70 points. You add 3 plasma guns in, you're looking at 100 points. You add a heavy flamer in there, 110. You add a las cannon in there, you're looking at 125 points. That's a lot of points for what is essentially a pretty beefy infantry squad, but it's no more durable. It's gonna die just as easily, and it's got no source of deep striking in. So either you've got to have them sort of sitting back and trying to provide some fire support, where really veterans want to be up close and personal and bringing those special weapons to bear, or you've got to buy a transport for them, which starts getting more expensive. You start thinking, well, now even if I take a cheap Chimera, I'm looking at a 200 point unit. That's 10% of my army in one squad. I could get a Lemurus tank commander for that. That tank commander is probably going to do more damage than a 1 pop and done veteran squad. So that's why veterans have traditionally, or more recently I should say, started falling out of favour. But I'm here to tell you that there is a way to get a good amount of leverage out of a veteran squad or 2 in your Imperial Guard army. You see, one other nail in the coffins for the veteran squad is the fact that as per the last balance patch, there's 2 key changes which have kind of screwed veterans over. The first one is regular old infantry squads now get all of their special and heavy and squad upgrades, weapons and whatnot for free. Which means if you take an infantry squad, it's 60 points, which is 5 points cheaper than a bare bones veteran squad, and it comes with a las cannon, a plasma gun, a plasma pistol, and a power sword on the sergeant, a vox caster, and all other sorts of things that you can chuck into an infantry squad. They're really, really cheap now, and they get all those upgrades for free. So why would you take a veteran squad that you have to pay upgrades for? I don't want to pay for my upgrades, I want my upgrades to be free. So it's really difficult for me, I don't know about you guys, it's really difficult for my sort of mental energy, my thinking to be like, why would I pay for upgrades when I can take them for free on another unit? So that's one thing that's kind of screwed them over. And the second thing that's got them again recently is that Armour of Contempt has kind of screwed over one of the last bastions of the veteran squad, which was the cheap long-range support veteran. And this veteran unit was where you took 10 veterans and you didn't give them plasma or melt or anything like that, you kept them cheap. And you went, I'm going to bang in a heavy bolter in there. I'm going to put 3 grenade launchers or 3 sniper rifles in that squad, and I'll chuck a bolter on the sergeant. And I'm looking at, you know, like an 80-point unit at best, you know, sort of 80, 90-point unit that can sit back and just chuck out, you know, 3 strength, 6 AP -1 shots, plus another 3 strength, 5 AP -1 shots, and it can just have a great time just just chucking some crack grenades and autocannon rounds and heavy bolter rounds at the enemy. But the problem with that now is Armour of Contempt just wipes out AP -1, completely wipes it out. So that approach isn't even really viable for veterans anymore. So what can we do them? Why am I talking about veterans being good if all I've done for the last 5 minutes is say, oh yeah, veterans are screwed, don't bother taking them anymore? Well, here is what you want to do with your veterans. You want to take them bare bones. Bare bones veterans. But then I'm wasting Physical 3. I'm wasting all those heavy weapons, special weapon slots. No, you're not. Hear me out. Because each veteran can kind of get access to what I would call like a pseudo special weapon, and it's his lasgun. What are you talking about, Mordian Glory? No, lasguns aren't very good. Lasguns are great now, guys. Lasguns are great because lasguns can really get a lot of shots. A veteran squad with just all lasguns can just pump out like 36 rapid fire lasgun shots, which is nice. Why is that important? Well, as per the last balanced data slate, we got a special rule, army-wide across the guard, Hammer of the Emperor. Every 6 that hits is an auto wound. Okay, Mordian Glory, that's great, but why would I care about auto wounding with lasguns? Why wouldn't I just take, you know, a big block of conscripts and get like 120 shots from one unit? It's like, yeah, you could do that, but hear me out. Veterans have access to making their lasguns AP2. That's as good as a Scion squad, okay? But it's as good as a Scion squad for a third cheaper. All right, hear me out. Veterans have access to, especially if you take them Cadian, have access to 2 key stratagems. You have access to shock troops in the Cadian supplement, which is in book 1 of Warzone Octarius, Rising Tide. And shock troops, if you are within half range, which coincidentally happens to be rapid fire range as well, then you count as staying still, and you get an additional AP -1 to your lasguns, or to all your weapons. So suddenly your lasguns are AP -1. But Mordian Glory, you just said that AP -1 is rubbish. I did. But there's another stratagem that veterans have access to. Eagle Eye. This is in the Psychic Awakening, the Greater Good book. See, I've been saying for ages, Games Workshop just keeps layering these buffs on, and they don't really think about how they interact. But Eagle Eye allows you at any range to get an extra AP -1 on a veteran squad when it's shooting. So suddenly you have got AP -2 lasguns. Suddenly Armour of Contempt is out the window. You're taking those Marines down to a 4-up save. You used to hit things like Tau. Crisis suits, who will often put a 2-up save guy in that unit, suddenly they're down to a 4-up save or a 5-up save. That starts getting really gnarly. You start kicking Custodies down away from a 2-up save if they're out in the open, or if you've got an Astropath going around with them. It means that it's a really cheap source of AP2 shots, and you don't care about the strength. You don't care about it only being strength 3, because what you're looking for is as many Hammer of the Emperor points as possible. As many times as you can get 6s to get auto wounds. That's what you want. For every 6 you get an auto wound. That's Hammer of the Emperor. If you fire 36 shots, if the Sergeant throws a frag grenade, you could get between 6 and 7 auto wounds at AP -2 from a single 65-point squad. That is absolutely fantastic. Now, it gets even crazier, guys, because you could do that with lasguns. But what if you're facing a Horde army? What if there's a big block of termagants coming at you, or hormagaunts, or maybe even just a big squad of like Marines or something coming at you? You're still going to want to be able to get as many shots as possible. Grenadiers, another stratagem that guard get access to. If you spend 1 CP. 4 Grenadiers, and every single one of those veterans can throw a frag grenade. Now, bear in mind, you're going to need to be within half range of the grenades. That's 3 inches. You're going to have to be in absolutely point-blank range. But if you do, and you throw frag grenades, and you're throwing them into a Horde unit, then you're going to get 60 shots automatically. The blast keyword, the moment that they've got 11 men or more in that unit, you're getting 6 frag grenade shots per veteran. All of them are AP -2. That's going to be 10 auto wounds from your Hand of the Emperor. And don't forget, because of shock troops, because of the wording, it says you technically count as standing still. That means you get to reroll ones, but if you're throwing frag grenades, you don't have to do first rank fire, second rank fire on that veteran squad. You could do take aim, which means you get 10 auto wounds with the grenades, and then you get to reroll all the misses. And you should pick up another 3 or 4 or 5 auto wounds. So you get between 10 to 15 auto wounds. Absolutely fantastic. And then you still get a chance to wound with all the others. So, you know, you could be coming out there easily with that, you know, and what if you're facing Chaos? Plenty of Chaos units out there, plenty of Death Guard out there. Death Guard players love to run Poxwalkers. They love to run Poxwalkers, you know, throw a lot of frag grenades into those Poxwalkers. You don't even need to start using, you don't even need to worry too much about the AP at that point. You're just thinking, well, I'm going to get a lot of use shock troops, I'm going to get a lot of auto wounds. Or I could just use Vengeance for Cade. It's all of these, you know what I'm talking about? All of these things start stacking on. It's really, really effective. But going away from the grenades and back to the lasguns for a second, like I said, you're looking at 6 auto wounds AP -2. If you wanted to do the same thing with a unit of Tempestus Scions, you'd have to spend 90 points rather than 65. That's almost a third more. And if you want to be able to do it, you might say, oh, but Tempestus Scions can deep strike into rapid fire range. No, they can't. One specific Tempestus Scion regiment can deep strike into rapid fire range. That's it. And then you're not taking land on land, which is really what you want to be doing. So this is a really, really good tactic for getting a bit more mileage out of your vegetable. Now, how much would I leverage this tactic? Well, I wouldn't suddenly start sticking 3 bare bones veteran squads in my list. No. I would run them as a tool in the toolbox. And I'd either run 1, at most I would run 2 squads of bare bone veterans. And I wouldn't give them any upgrades. I wouldn't even worry about giving them transports or anything like that. They're just there as tools in the toolbox. Now, why would I consider running 2? Well, if you come across Marines, then you're going to want to get past Armor of Contempt, so you're going to stack Eagle Eye and Shock Troops on the same squad, right? That's fine. But what if you come across something that isn't Marines? What if you come across something that doesn't take advantage of Armor of Contempt? Now you've got access to 2 sources of AP -1 on those veteran lasguns. You can spread them out. You might not need to put AP 2 on 1 squad. It might be better you put AP 1 on 2 squads. That's how I would run it. Also, I don't like running just ones of things because there's a good chance it could die. It could just get killed and then you've sort of wasted the opportunity. The tool is gone from the toolbox. If you've got 2 squads, it gives you a little bit of redundancy. It means if one of the veteran squads fails, you can get another chance. If one of the veteran squads gets picked off, you've got another chance to do it. 3, though, I feel is too much. At that point, you're back to the whole, well, I spent 200 points on veterans. You can never buff them all in one go. Just doesn't quite work for me. So for me, I'd just take 1 squad. At a push, I'd take 2 squads. That would be it. And I'd keep it cheap. 65 to 130 points. Nice and cheap, nice and breezy. More tools in your toolbox. And the great thing about these units is that at the end of the day, if you need a little bit more screening, let's say you take a bit of a punishing turn 1, you've got a couple of bare bone squads there that you don't mind losing because they're not expensive. You know, they're only 5 points more than an infantry squad that you might have been screening with. They're really flexible. Just 10 blokes with lasguns that are veterans. Really flexible unit. Really cheap, expendable. You don't matter what you don't care what happens to them, but they have an opportunity to pull out a really nasty surprise for your opponent. And I guarantee you, not many people will be ready for this. Not many people will be ready for it. So it'll catch people off guard. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have enjoyed today's video, please consider giving the old thing a like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But if you've really enjoyed the video and you want to help support the channel further, there's 2 ways you can do that now. You can become a channel member, which is $1.99, and you get access to like badges and emojis and all sorts of cool stuff, and you're doing your part to support the channel. Or you can become a Patreon supporter. And I want to say a huge thank you to my current channel members and Patreon supporters. You guys are absolutely fantastic. You know that without you guys, this channel wouldn't be able to keep going. I'm not just saying that. to try and make you feel good. I'm saying it because it's true, and hopefully it has the added bonuses of making me feel good. This channel lives and dies on the support from my channel members and from my patrons. Massive thank you to you guys. And if you're interested in becoming a supporter, you can click the join button and next to the subscribe button in this video, or you can go down to the link in the description below and you'll find a link to the Patreon page. Massive thank you to all the supporters. Massive thank you to everyone who has watched this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. And of course, I'll see you guys next time.